Hi, and welcome to oceanai. This weekend I'm going to have a look at the few of the charts, do a review of the AI. Charts are sent out and things to watch for, how to trade them, different ways to trade them, things like that. I'm going to start doing daily reviews just so you guys can understand what I'm looking at when I look to place a trade on them, and so you can look at it yourself and make your own call. So firstly, starting with the gold here. This is the gold from Friday. So if I have a look at that one, this one here was the gold AI I sent out on Friday. And so that was giving us a turn point up here and then down here. So there's the two arrows there. So with that, this first one here, there was not a lot in it. But what we did have was this black line here is the ABCD, going back from the bottom, not way over there. So with that one, I posted a trade order, a sell order in the group. That was this one here. So we're at this level here, and I was looking for this point. So I was expecting a move to come up into that 1768 area. So I had an order in at 1768 and just risked 70 points on that one. But we just missed that. So I was expecting that little move to come up into here. So when we got this, it's not, if we had a hit here, would have been fine, would have come down. But because we come to this point and we just traded sideways for a couple of hours there. So with the way the AI works, we don't like to see that. Ideally, what you want to see is a move into a level and then see it move off, like what we got down here. Yeah, so this one didn't get triggered, so I cancelled that order. But it did fall away as expected from that point. And what it did create was a ABCD down into this time zone, which is the ideal scenario. So with that one, I sent out no, not there. Yeah, anyway, I sent out, just as this was happening, I sent out a chart with this ABCD on it to show the setup. And what happened was it took off from there, and that's the ideal setup we're looking for, something to come down into a level at a pattern. What we also had too was from this last low over here. This was that 50 to 60% area. So we also had that. So at ABCD into the 50% at an expected change in trend window. So ideal scenario, and it moved straight away. So that was good. We move on to the oil. So what we had with the oil, with that one, so the chart I sent out with the oil was this one here. So we're looking for this point at 4:30 and then 9 o'clock. So at 4:30, which was this one here, we were coming into a high nicely, and that was a bit like the other one. We had that 50 to 60% retracement. So we came into a high here. That gave us that ABCD Gartley pattern again. That A to B, B to C, and that was the setup there. So that was a nice setup for that one. Once again, like the gold, we had that rally into the time. Then it sold off for about 60, 70 points. And then it come back up and just hung around into this next time change here, and then it went up. But yeah, if you sold that and you're up 60 odd points, then you've got a chance to move your stop loss to break even anyway, or something along those lines. Once it moves down like that, you don't want to leave a big risk. So yeah, I tend to move my stop loss nice and quickly. And once we left from that one didn't really work. You might have taken a little scalp if you're a scalper. Yeah, or a break even or a small loss. So the next one we had was this 9 o'clock window. Well, we got a rally up into here, and then the same thing with the gold. We had that sideways move into the time. So when we get a sideways move into the time, don't want to trade. So just don't worry about it. And then it spiked up from there, and then it fell away. So that was a nice ABCD up into that one there as well. So if we look at ABCD patterns, we go from this low here, this high here, down to that low, and there was a nice ABCD pattern there. Good place, good opportunity to go short. Yeah, so after that one, we had sent out a chart with a pound as well. We had this high here, was nice. It was a nice high. It was a nice extension point. Another thing we look for is extensions as well from previous moves. So if we take that one, that high to that low, and then we look for the 127, 141 and 161 extension, and that went right to the 1.618. So that was another one of those examples where you got that move up into the time. At the time it was at the 1.41414. So if we had a sold there, then your stop would have been above the 1.618 extension anyway. So then we got a nice move down, and then from that I was looking for, from this time here, I was looking for a ABCD pattern to move back into the 50 to 60% area for this time, and then to sell off. But what we got was an invert. So that's another thing we can get. These things work a lot of the time to where they're meant to, but also other times they can be inverted. So that's why we just use it as a time guide as opposed to following the line. So with this example here, we had this expected turn, and this was a low. So, and with that low as well, we had the ABCD again. So we had this ABCD down to there. There was the extension, came down a little bit more, came down to, so we had combination Fibonacci levels here. So from this low here, no, sorry, it wasn't that low. It was this low here. That was the 618. And then from the previous low before that was this one over here. That was the 50% there. So you had double ABCD levels. So if you entered on this one, you would have had your stop below there, ideally. And then we got a rally away from there. So that's just an example of an invert and how inverts work. So expecting a change in trend here. We're expecting it to come up into here, but it ended up being down here. So good example of an invert and how they work. So now I'll move on to some of the crypto. That Bitcoin sitting up nicely over here for a sell around that 24,000. So keep an eye out on that today. So this was Friday's action. I'll just go to the chart we had. So this was the one we sent out. Yeah, expecting turn around 10:30, 3 o'clock, and then 6:30 for a sell-off for the rest of the day. No, I didn't mark. Oh yeah, I did. So what we got, this one here was sideways, sideways into the time here. So yeah, we're just chopping up and down, so there was no opportunity to go short or long there. So that's when you step aside. We've got the spike up here, and then it dropped down into this time. Then we've got a bit of a rally into here. So this timing was a little bit off. So what we did have here at this point was a nice, if I get rid of this Fibonacci, what we had with this timing was, well, no, timing wasn't there, but just purely as a pattern example. So we got up into that 50 to 60% retracement here, and that was an ABCD. So that gives us that that Gartley pattern again that we look for. A to B, B to C, up into that 50 to 60% area. So although the timing was out on this one, because that actually gave us a low here, and that was pretty close to an ABCD to the downside. It was just short of it, the ABCD come in here and then it went higher. So yeah, this one, if you had a traded this one, it probably would have been, well, it depends on where your stop was, whether you got it into it at the close of this bar. You could have ridden it up, but ideally you want to see that move straight away. I don't want to see it hanging around. If it goes sort of 1 hour afterwards and you're still in the same area, generally more chance of it to go against you. So that's why we like to see it hit these levels and then go. So Bitcoin didn't really line up on Friday. Even this one here sort of hung around, so that wasn't that good. And then the rest of the day sort of just fizzled out. But yeah, just an example of a pattern we look for there. So even if you're expecting a high here, you see a pattern like this, okay, expecting it to go lower, so you can trade that just solely on the pattern, and then expecting the price to go lower. So that's that one. Go over to Cardano. If that was Cardano, so we had this one here. So that was Cardano, sent out around 9 o'clock in the morning, expecting these 2 points here. So much like some of the other ones, the cryptos, this early one was sideways, so there was nothing to do with that one. And then the second one here, the timing was out as well. So we're expecting a high to come in at around 6:30, but actually come in around 5:45. So timing was out slightly on this one. And we were down here, so not really any pattern or anything to get into it. So that one didn't really work. Yeah, so things to watch out for. Sideways into it, no good, don't want to trade. And then this one here sort of just dropped, but there's no pattern where the top was up by a little bit. So, but if this timing, if we happen to be here, that would have been ideal, because you've got your just shy of a double top there, and a move up into the time. So there you go, but can't win them all. So that's that one. If we go on to ALGO, where's that one? So yeah, this is the one we sent out. So we're looking for the move around 12, 3:30, and then 8 o'clock, which is 12, 3:30, and 8 o'clock here. So had a nice rally in for this one, albeit similar to the last one. We were sort of half an hour early, and then it hung around this level and then dropped off, but sort of just hung around there. So you could have had a short on that one, but might have taken a little bit or cut it for a small loss just due to the fact that it hung around in that area. So that was it. And then we come into this one here, had a little pullback into that time there, but nothing really like what expecting something to go from here down to here in some sort of a pattern. So you'd expect, ideally would have wanted this to come down, something like this, up into there and then down into there, and that would have given us that nice setup to go long. But come down and then it come up into here, and it yeah, it didn't do a lot. So there was nothing here to go short. So that one didn't really work. And then the 8 o'clock one was a nice one. So this one, another example of that invert. So we're expecting a rally from here to here. It started rallying, but then it fell away. So what it completed was a butterfly pattern there. So we had that first run up, this run, and then it dropped down into this level here. So it was the one, didn't quite make the 1.618. So that was a good example of an invert. So you could have had your order in here and stopped below there, and then it's moved up nicely. Target areas on something like this, we tend to look for three target areas. These ones. So in a pattern like that, look for 3 target areas. First one is your 382. Generally that one there you use to move your trade to break even. So once it hits that 382, move it to a break even and then see what it does. And then second is normally the 618 of this move down. So that would be target 2. And then target 3, if you want, would be the move higher up into equal here or even further extension levels. So that's how I like to play it. But yeah, there's another example there of a invert. So just trying to show you how things work here, where they don't work and where they do work in inverts, things to watch out for. So we go to BAT, this one here. We had a nice ABCD into this level here. The ABC didn't quite trigger until just a little bit after. It's this one here. So A to B, B to C. But much like the gold, we're expecting that. It didn't quite hit it. So you could have your order in there, then you got triggered here, expecting a move down, and then we come down into this time zone. But like the other ones with the crypto, we had the invert. For the secondary, expecting trade to trend, we're looking for this move up here. So looking for this one to come up into here and then over into here. Looking for that one. But obviously it turned here, came down, and then we had this ABCD the other way. A to B, B to C, C to D, down into there. So that triggered on the next bar after. And then, so once you get an invert, that means that this next high, this next change of trend point, you're expecting a reversal of that. So instead of a low, you're expecting a high. So because we've got the low here, we're expecting a run up into this time. So that means that we just expect it to come up into there and then turn. So when you get an invert, that's things to look for. Means the whole structure turns over and this next level becomes an expected high instead of an expected low. So what it did, it run up to those, got to that through the 382 first level and then hit the second level at the 61.8%. So either, yeah, ideal scenario was move to break even there and then take profit at the 61. So yeah, that one would have been a nice one, because then it fell away after that one, and this time went from expected high to this was the change in trend as well. So see, there's a few variations we can get with these things. So yeah, so that one there was the Gartley move down. So if I get rid of this, obviously I can't keep an eye on everything at the while it's happening. So just trying to give you examples here of how it works. So what that point provided, I didn't mark that as a point, but just a purely example that gave us that pattern, Gartley pattern, down into the 78% from here, which gave us a chance to go long, and then it just sort of drifted up again, and you got that 382 and then the 618. But I think, get rid of that one, Get rid of that one. So if we look at this one as an example, as the 382, where's that? Yeah, there. So, no, I didn't quite hit the 382. So what I was thinking is if it's hit the 382 here, you moved your stop loss to 0, it's come down and zeroed you out, but it didn't quite hit it here. So you'd have your original stop loss down here below the slow here. So you would have got it there and then got it there. So yeah, another way of looking at things there. Trade example. I didn't mark this on the chart, but yeah, that's just an example of what you look for. So expecting that high again, but it turned and become a low. So, and then you got your first move and your second move there. So that's that one. Geez, this is a 20-minute video. This is a bit more detailed. So the ones I'll do during the week will just be a quick review. I just want to, with this one, just want to give you a lot of examples to go over a lot of different possibilities and things like that. So the Ethereum here. Okay, we're expecting a high into this point. Didn't quite come up enough. So originally looking for some sort of move into, well, this one into here, then down and then up into here to sell. So yeah, there wasn't a lot going on to sell this one, and it just hung around there as well. So if you did sell it, then it just hung around here, so you wanted to get out of that trade. Then we came down into this one, which was a double bottom. So if you were looking at, I'll get rid of this now because it's not really valid. So would have been looking for the ABCD on this one. So expecting that high again, but this high became a low. So the ABCD of these last moves brought us into there. So it hit that 1675, which gave us that butterfly pattern. That's butterfly pattern from there. There, and there. So that's what happened with that one. So that became an invert as well because we were expecting a high, and I was looking for that, originally looking for that move up into 50-60% from this high. But we ended up getting a totally different pattern. And then with that one, it sat there for a while, for a couple of hours. It triggered, went up, come down, didn't really do anything. So with the rules I have around it, if it hangs there for this long, I like to get out of it. But eventually it did move up and did hit those two targets. But that can be on you. If you want to hold in it for a bit longer and just go for the targets, then that's another way to play it. But I just like to see it hit, see it go, and go from there. So the more it hangs around, the more chance you've got of it to go against you. So that was that one. Ethereum, and now we move on to decentraland. Mana. This one was a nice one. That was a nice top there. We had that ABCD butterfly pattern in there. If I go into 3 minute, probably see it better. Yeah, drag that over here. Where are we? There we are. So we've got this butterfly pattern here. It's a real nice setup, this one. So that one, and then up into there. So that was a really nice move into the time change in trend window, and then it moved away. Same thing there. With the pattern, targets are 382, 61, and then further down from there, you can look for other levels. So that worked well. It also set up twice. You had a nice, just purely pattern based here. If we look at this first move down there, you got ABCD back into the 78%. Crypto just follows patterns really nicely, I find. And then this one's just pattern, nothing to do with the AI. You got that pullback, Gartley pattern into the 78%, and then that run down nicely into that next change of trend window. Yeah, and from that got a little rally, and then it fell away. And this one here wasn't really a lot we could do. Come down hung about, then dropped. So, but that was the good one for the morning. That was our patterns that time. Then we got a chance to add in to that one and then travel it down to that time. So that's another way of trading it. You can go for fib levels. So you look for your first two targets. Or another way to trade, I've done in the education stuff, is you can trade from time to time. So if you're expecting a move from here to here, so you could trade that from there to there and get out there. That's another way to trade it. But like we've seen in the other charts, sometimes this one can be an invert, and so that can come down. You can see it come down here, say to this point here, and then it could rally into there. So that's the chance you take. You can go for the fib levels, or you can trade time to time, but that's all in the education stuff you can have a look at. Yeah, this is sort of quite a detailed video. Just wanted to go over a lot of different possibilities, things to watch out for, patterns to watch, and yeah, so hope this helps. I'll be doing reviews every day, but they'll be a lot shorter, probably just on 1 or 2 charts. Yeah, just so you guys can keep up with it, see what I look for and go for that. I'll be doing a lot more trades as well, so I'll be sending out charts saying, okay, we've got a trade coming up, so we need to watch out for this level, or I'll just put in the trade myself. So yeah, hope this helps. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.